What's going on, world? It's your main man, Kareem A. Rashid, the voice, and your host of Clearing the Wreckage. I am so happy that you're here with me today. Again, I don't know what you got going on. If you're at the house, chilling out, you know what I'm saying, and you're like, hey, let me click on YouTube or let me click on Spotify or Apple, whatever you're doing. And you might be on the toilet. If you are, do not forget to flush. You already know what time it is. You already know. What's up? Again, I just want to thank you so much for being here with me today. This is episode 9. Today, we are going to talk about, oh my goodness, am I still a adolescent or a kid mentally? That's not necessarily the title. The title is going to be facing myself and seeing me for who I am. Oh my gosh. Man, thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm going to catch you up real quick. You already know what time it is. You already know it's catch-up time. Episode 8. The last episode I talked about the value of me having a mentor, the value of a mentor, and how to me he added so much value to my life, especially at that particular time, because I had just decided to clear the wreckage of alcohol and drug use. I said, you know what? I don't want it no more. And so I shared with you how, I left that hotel room. I was with the young lady at the time. We were in a relationship together, and she had just bought alcohol back to the hotel room. What a temptation for me to just stay there and indulge and go back to my old identity. And I decided to leave there and not go back. Had no idea what I was going to do. So, my homie dropped me off to my mom's house. Obviously, I called my mom, asked her if I can just stay the night, go to church with you in the morning. That's what we did. I told my mom, I said, I don't care where you take me after church. You can drop me back off to the woods. You can drop me back off in a park. I don't care. I just can't go there, because if I go there anywhere near her, I'm probably most likely going to go back to my old identity. Capiche? So I've caught you up. So I'm at mom's house. I have no idea of what to do, and it wasn't really about me, what I was supposed to do. It was about who am I going to be? Who am I going to be after I left all of my demise behind? Who in the hell do I want to be now? That's what it was about for me. And I had to make a decision. Now, let me share with you that in this episode, you're going to hear some things that probably will make you go, And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Am I still a child mentally? What is going on? How come I have to remind myself in the morning to brush my teeth? I got to remind myself. I got to not just remind myself, make myself brush my teeth. Make myself eat food. Make myself take a shower, take a bath. Make myself put shoes on the right way, put clean socks on, do laundry, all of these things that normal adult 31, 32-year-old men know how to do, and are doing. So why was that? So the reason for me is because I started at age 12 drinking alcohol and using drugs. Boom, right there, my brain became arrested. There was no longer any rapid or mature development in my brain. I'm not going to say it stopped developing completely. There was the process was halted. The process became arrested. The process became halted. Particularly my prefrontal cortex. So this is the part of the brain that deals with emotional regulation. This is the part of the brain that deals with my emotions, that helps me regulate those emotions to be sane, basically, in a nutshell. Helps me with making decisions. I was one of those people as an adult that just couldn't make a decision. I don't know what to do. Helps me with my impulse control, being able to control my impulses, and helps me think rationally. So the prefrontal cortex deals with all of these things, and boom, at age 12, it's disrupted. Just like that. Because I decided to take some alcohol, and not only did I decide to just drink it once, I decided I love the feeling of this. I want more. I love the feeling it gives me. Please give me more alcohol now. Yes, people, that was my response, my reaction to after the time that I had my first drink. I wanted more. There was something already inherently inside of me that the desire grew after I took that first drink to have more because of the effect and the feeling that alcohol produced inside of me. It wasn't the taste or anything like that. It was the effect that it gave me. I wanted more of that effect. I wanted to feel that more. I was like, oh my gosh, ooh, this feels great. So later on in my adolescence and in my teenage years, of course, it progressed and it grew more steadily to where I was drinking every single day, all throughout the day. And yeah, enough said. There's really nothing else to say about that. So my brain was just not growing maturely in a way that it needed to. We all know that the prefrontal cortex is something that is being developed throughout the adolescence to about age 25. We all know that. If you're older than 25 listening to this, you know that. I don't have to share that information with you. So imagine me at age 12. I just halted. I stopped 12 or 13 more years of growth. I want that to hit home to you. I want that to hit home. I want you to take some time and actually listen to what I just said. Let that sink in. Let it sink in. Age 12. I got 12 plus 13 more years of my brain to grow. And I said, you know what? Boop, cease. You're not growing no more. Oh, man. Oh man, why did I do that to my brain? I have no idea. We'll go into that in a later episode some other time. But right now, I wanted to share that information with you so you can get a gist of what I'm about to say now. So I'm at my mother's house. Fresh out of the woods, fresh out the hotel, fresh off of drug and alcohol use. I gotta look in the mirror and go, what the hell? Who am I? My identity, let me break this down for you, was wrapped up. My identity was that I am a person that uses alcohol and drugs throughout the day, throughout the night to cope with my mental health, to cope with my life, to cope with my mental disorders, to cope with the wreckage. That is what I do. That is who I am. Now, I do not have any of that because I surrendered. Remember that episode? Yeah. And I have come to the place of agreement and agreeance unto this power that's greater than me, and the ingredients agreeance in seeing my mentor live a life that is fulfilling and satisfying without alcohol and drugs. How did he do it? Oh my goodness, how did he do it? So I'm seeing this, I'm watching, I'm observing, I'm with him, hanging out with him. I'm going to the meetings on Monday with the men. I'm going to other meetings. I'm seeing other addicts and alcoholics, and I'm wondering how they're staying sober. I'm staying sober and clean one day at a time. I don't know how I'm doing it. All I know is I'm fighting temptation all day long. I want to drink and drug because I'm so used to it. Oh man, this person pissed me off. I want to drink. Remember, my prefrontal cortex was disrupted, so I don't have the ability to regulate my emotions. The only thing I knew how to do was to grab a drink. That's it. That's all I knew. That is all I knew. So that was my identity, people. And so I'm at mom's looking at myself like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. Now, when it comes to looking at myself and facing myself, okay. So I'm looking at two versions of myself. I'm seeing this is due to my alcoholism and addiction. This is what has happened to me. This is what has happened to my brain. I have to face the facts, right? So when we look at ourselves, are you ready for this? This is part of clearing the wreckage. In order for me to clear that wreckage in my life, I had to take a look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. And part of that was me acknowledging, my goodness, look at the wreckage that I have caused because I decided at age 12 that I love the effect of alcohol and I want to continue drinking that because I love how it makes me feel. And you know what? Later on in my teenage years, I don't really care how I get alcohol. I don't care how I get drugs. I just know that I gotta get it because I'm trying to survive. It was a survival tactic because my brain, again, did not know how to regulate my emotions, did not know how to think rationally. I did not know how to control my impulse. And I didn't know how to make good decisions. All of that was disrupted at age 12. Therefore, thank God I finished high school and I went to college for like a year or 2 years. But because of my decision making, my impulse control, my, hey, no, I don't know how to regulate my emotions. I don't know how to sit still and actually study and go to class because my impulse is to drink and drug. I dropped out of college. And I did not go back to college. And I continued to party and drink and drug. And when I say party, I'm not talking about, I'm not just some old regular college kid, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm some regular, person that just drinks on occasion, okay, yeah, it's Friday night, let's have a drink. No, man, this was every single day. This was every day of my life. I don't know how much I can reiterate that to you. This was every day. This was my identity. So I left all of that behind, left the hotel, left the drugs, left the alcohol, left the person. What do I have left now? That identity, that was my identity. So I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? I'm facing the fact. But this is who I want to become. I'm looking at another version of myself. I want to become an adult. I want to become a man. I'm 32. I'm living with my mom. I don't want to live here. I want my own place. I want a job. I want to be able to, wake up in the morning, not have to remind myself to brush my teeth. I want that to come natural. I want to be able to dress dapper. I want to be able to look presentable. I want to be able to wash my own clothes and have my own. I couldn't tell you how much that meant to me to have my own. I just want to share with you real quick that everything that I had was given to me. I'm age 12 mentally, staying with the person who enabled me and spoiled me all my life and gave me things. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. That's who I was staying with. My mom. Yes, she loved me. Yes, so much. But my mom had a problem. And that was enabling and spoiling her son and giving him whatever he asked for. And I knew, remember how I told you in one of the episodes, how to manipulate and soak whatever I wanted out of my mother. I knew how to do that from a very early age. Remember, I'm at her house. I'm 12. Don't you think that those thoughts came into my mind? I could just ask my mama for some money. I ain't got to go out here and find a job. The hell I look like finding a job when I got all the resources I need? I got food. My mom could just go to the grocery store and buy food for me. I ain't got to buy anything. My mom could just take me to the department store and buy me some clothes. I don't have to do that. My mom could just, and the list can go on, right? Without being able to think rationally, that is where the thought process went most of the time. I'm being completely vulnerable with you and real with you. That's how it went. I was like, oh, shoot. Well, mom took me in. All right, mom, take care of me now. Yeah, let's get real. That is exactly where my thought process was. But I said, no, I don't want to be that person anymore. I've cleared the wreckage. I am clearing this wreckage. I am clearing that wrecked up identity, the destruction, the desolation, the havoc. Remember, we talked about what wreckage actually really is, the broken parts, the disordered parts of myself. I'm doing away with it. I'm clearing it. I don't know. So I'm looking at myself and I'm like, no, this is the version I want to be. The adult that takes care of himself, that actually lives in a house and takes care of his mother. That's the adult I want to be. So how did I become that person? Well, first of all, one day at a time. That's for sure. But let me just share with you some of the steps that I took. As I told you already, I had to remind myself to brush my teeth, had to remind myself to bathe, all of that, okay? But I did not have anything of my own. So the steps that I took to get that was I had to, from somewhere, I had to find humility. And I was a very prideful, egotistic, arrogant young man, so I did not have an ounce of humility inside of me. So where did I find it from? My mentor found it. I watched him ask for things. I watched him humble himself enough to be transparent and vulnerable with me. I observed that and I said, give me some of that. I want it. I want that. And I took it. I took a piece of that from him, and bit by bit, I learned what humility was, and I learned that I needed to ask for help at this stage in my life. So I went to my mother with a plan. It wasn't a long, drawn-out plan. It was just, Mom, this is who I want to become. Do you have any advice or suggestions as to how do I get to this place? Yeah, I went to my mentor. I asked him the same thing, and I just continued to do recovery. I went to my meetings. I went to church, and I hung around older men who had become adults, who had problems and issues with addiction, but I saw that they became adults. I was like, I want that. So I just latched on to people and was like, I want that. I want that. And I asked questions. How did you, you just got off you're now clean from, alcohol and crack for 10 years. Like, how, tell me that story. I ask people that so that I can become not necessarily them, but become my own person. So I did not have a job. So let me tell you what I did. I went to Career Source, and I went there pretty much Monday through Friday, and I sat my black ass down. Excuse my language. I just had to say it. And I allowed them to teach me how to fill out an application. Now, in my mind, I'm like, man, I know how to fill out an application. Bro, I don't need nobody to teach me how to fill out an application. I know how to do that. But nope. I grabbed onto that humility from my mentor, and I was like, nope, this is I don't know anything. Teach me, please. I want to clear the wreckage out of my life. I don't want to be that person anymore. That identity is gone. The man who thinks he knows everything, the ego, which is wreckage, I don't want that in my life anymore. Teach me. They taught me how to write a resume. They taught me how to do a cover letter. They taught me how to present myself when looking for a job or for when sitting at an interview. They told me these things. And I learned. And I went to that place Monday through Friday. And I learned. And that was my job. That was my job until I found the job every single day. Then, thank God, I found a job. And when I found the job and I got paid, do you know the first thing I wanted to do? I wanted to go back to the old identity. I was like, ooh, money, let's go drink. But, I did not know how else to cope. I did not know how to control my impulses. Remember this. I'm telling you this so that you can know I disrupted those things. My prefrontal cortex, I disrupted it. So I had to get that humility again. Mom, when I get paid, before I even got paid from the job, I went to my mom. I said, Mom, I told you I came out with a little plan. It wasn't that much, but I said, Mom, when I get paid, I want to give you my check. I want to give you my money. I want you to help me become this new person that I'm trying to become. I want you to help me. Although I am doing it myself, I want you to help me clear the wreckage, clear that wrecked up identity, leave it in the past, and not go back to it. So, Mom, take my paycheck. So she took my paycheck. And then I met this other guy who I was like, I learned about him. There was this man who I learned about who was his job. So my mom's job. So let me just share this with you. My mom was an accountant or a bookkeeper. And then I met this guy who was a financial guru accountant. That was his job. And I was like, boop, I want some of that. I mean, that's the type of humility that I begin to have. And I don't know where this was coming from. Just the simple fact was, I think it was coming from a power greater than myself. But I will share with you, the fact that I looked at myself, this is where it's coming from. I looked at myself and I said, this is who I am. This is what happened. This is what it was like. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's cool. I accept that about myself, but I don't want to be that person. This is who I want to become. It was like I was looking at my reflection and I was like, I want to be that person that's staring back at me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be this person that's staring at it. I want to be the other person. I want to be what people really, truly see in me. And so I latched on to him. I said, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? You work as an accountant and you deal with finances. And hey, man, can you help me? I want to save some money. I want to learn how to budget my money. I want to learn how to buy my own groceries. I want to learn how to take care of myself. I also want to possibly, save up for a car because I'm sitting here catching the bus to this career source place every single day. I'm walking to work every single day. I need a car. Then I will also need my own place. I want my own. So those are some of the steps that I took. Those are some of the things that I did. And it was about me first, though. Oh my gosh, I am a child mentally. I accept that. But what can I do to change that? Give me the courage to change that. As I looked at myself in the mirror, I said, I can. So that's what this episode is about today. That's all I have for you, truthfully. So those are just some of the things that I did. I do, when I share these stories with you and I share these episodes with you, I hope that, I really do. I hope that there's something inside the episode that resonates with you. I'm not a coach. Not now, at least. In the future, I might be. But I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not that person. I'm just here to share with you my experience, my strength, and my hope, and then share with you some of the things that I did, where I was in my life, and how I began to clear the wreckage. And one of those ways I did was I took time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. That's what I did. And I leave you with that every single episode because that is what I did. And we're going to talk about more of how, and in later episodes, how I wasn't doing that on my own. Obviously, how I just shared with you, I had people helping me, but there had to be a power. Remember, I surrendered. I came in agreement to this power, and this power had to be greater than me. That was giving me the capability to do these things. And yes, for the normal people, you're probably like, oh, I don't know, gave you capability to go look for a job, something you should have did. Gave me capability, when I say that, to look past my old self and create a new self. Gave me the identity to clear that crap, to clear that wreckage, to say, you know what? I'm not going to drink. You know what? Yes, I'm going to brush my teeth. Because on my own willpower, I just would have went around with stink breath. That's how I lived in the woods. I was homeless. I ain't care about having stink breath. I ain't had no toothbrush and brush my teeth. I ain't care about not taking a shower. I ain't had no water. I ain't had no tub, no bath in the woods. You catch my drift? Now, do you let that sink in? Let that sink in. For real. Yeah, man. So, yeah, there was a power greater than me giving me those capabilities. You know what I'm saying? I was able to hear that power. I was able to hear that voice more. Now, I shared that with you in those episodes. That's why I'm sharing all this with you in these episodes, so that you can know. So that you can be on the journey with me. This is a journey. This is a process. Life is great. And I'm on a journey still. I'm still learning how to clear the wreckage. But I'm sharing with you that I decided to take some time to look inside and clear that doggone wreckage. And that's what I'm doing every single day of my life now. So, as I leave you, always take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Y'all have a wonderful day.